And he's loose again. Edwards off the running. Like a back down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now. And they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes to the free. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. Tonight, it is clearly Northwestern's time for a season preview. We're going through the Big Ten. It's the last of our preview conferences. We've covered everybody from the group of 5 contenders through the rest of the Power 4. So, honestly, I'm glad that talking season's almost done and that we're getting ready to kick off. But either way, it's just me tonight. It's Brendan. Appreciate your time and joining us. My partner Trevor's out, so we are gonna rock and roll with this regardless. Usually when we do these, I like to hit up 2024 first, or the season prior. We started doing these last year, so this is really our second off season, and I feel like we've been doing pretty solid on these. So we're hope you guys enjoy it. We're checking out. Let us know what you think, and subscribe, of course. All right, we're going to look at 2024 before we move on into 2025 and kind of what we're seeing for this season. Pulling it up here, changing this around, and looking on my screen. 2024, you guys know as Northwestern fans, but for others that might be, watching that aren't fans that just want to see, maybe the Northwestern's on their team schedule this year. Something to keep an eye on. Miami, Ohio, you guys took a win there. That was a good Miami team. And then tough double overtime loss to Duke. You beat Eastern Illinois, and then things started getting, a little wonky here with the 4-8 finish, losing to Washington, Indiana. You took down Maryland, and then Wisconsin, Iowa got a hold of you. Tight win, against Purdue, and then the last 3. Let's just not even talk about the last 3. All right, moving on. I mean, it's something to build on. I think you can always build no matter if it's a good season or bad. But I like what Coach Braun is trying to do here. And again, you go back to, 2023 and, the season they had there at 8-5. So, I mean, it's doable getting back into that realm. And I kind of like what this team shows. So we're going to get into that and, kind of see where I'm looking at this. A couple of numbers real quick. Return production's up at 60. Recorded a couple other episodes tonight. Purdue, Maryland, and there's only in the 40s. So you guys sitting at 60 is good. S&P Plus has you around the 87th best team in the country, or toughest, regardless, however you want to look at it. So, I mean, there's obviously room for improvement. But when you look at 2024 and building off of this year, look at the numbers for total offense. I know it doesn't tell the whole story, but total offense was 130th. And with the defense being the 56th rated in the country last season, with the offense being so poor, that leads us into some coaching talk real quick and kind of how that pairs with the offense. This year, you have coaching continuity. Braun's back. McGarrigle is back. And then you also have Lou Hahn back at offensive coordinator. And we saw what he did in the FCS levels. But now he's in year 2. And you have a quarterback that's actually had really proven success. Last year, I know it was funky for Preston Stone, but we'll get into that later. To me, though, what he said, when I talked about, Preston Stone said that he's really impressed with this offensive coordinator. And if they gel well, that's going to mean a lot for this offense and getting out of that 130 range that they were in. So coaching continuity and a veteran quarterback is so important. When I talk about, teams that can contend, I'm not saying that Northwestern can this year, but it's usually good returning production, veteran quarterback, continuity of coaching staff, and then the schedule. 4 things that I usually bring up. So that's just something to look at for later, but you have a couple of those tenets. So let's, we talk coaching a little bit. I don't really get too much into it other than, hey, there's some continuity there. But the portal is where you're going to start having to work if you're Braun, and also on the recruiting trail. But this year's huge for showing what you mean, on the field, and getting these guys to want to buy into your culture. So when I look at the transfer portal, it was the 68th class in the country, 15 in, 13 out. But some of the guys you brought in, we already mentioned, Preston Stone coming in. You guys brought in some solid players. So I think there's room here for this team to maybe even improve upon last year. Some of the key guys that I wrote down: Xavier Gray, Karlaftis, Preston Stone, and then Sadowski is another guy. You did lose some big names: Soares Jr., Thompson on the offensive line, Darren Johnson, and then Lovelace is another guy that I wrote down as a tough loss. You also had a portal transfer in who ended up leaving, and Darius Coffey. I mean, that sucks. He's going to Purdue, but whatever. You never knew him, right? So why the hell does it matter? But just some things to look at. Another one would maybe be Alex Lyons, tight end coming over from New Mexico State. So just something to look for. All right, let's talk offense because, mentioned it briefly. If they can get their shit together, then this defense is going to have even more pressure taken off of them. And if they're 56 in the country last year, how far can they climb with an offense that's actually, serviceable? So obviously this all starts off with the quarterback play and Preston Stone. There's no doubt in my mind he's the guy. I'm pretty sure today he was declared that at media days. You guys will watch this, a couple days past when I record it. So, I'm pretty sure that just happened. But looking at it, there's no doubt in my mind that he was going to be it. He's got the talent. When you look at, I just don't understand what happened last year at SMU. It's so strange. But the year before in 2023, huge year, almost 60%, right at 60% passing, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,100 passing yards. And then SMU moves into the ACC. They're primed for a huge year because of him. And then things just kind of fell off. Like the team did not react the same way that it did the year before. The line was missing blocks. I don't know if they hated the guy or what. It's all speculation, but something was up. And even still, through all that shit, threw for 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 30 to 51 passing. So I don't know. If he plays 2023 level, you guys are going to upset somebody. Like I've got no doubt in my mind. So you have that. You have that solid quarterback play. And then you have Cam Porter. He's coming back with Hyman at running back. He's a speedy dude. So you have a good 1-2 punch there. It all depends on the offensive line. The portal, there's a lot of help there. You got guys coming in. Let me pull it up again just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, Xavier Gray is one that I mentioned earlier, 6'8", 340 coming over from Liberty. Berenston, that's another player coming over from South Dakota. He's got a couple of those, type guys coming in. Taylor Chandler coming over from Missouri. So and even a Big Ten dude, Martez Lewis coming over from Minnesota. So you got some blood from the big times that are coming in to plus up that O-line. Look, Braun knows how you win in the Big Ten. You have to run. You have to control the ball. You have to get first downs. You have to control the ball on third. You have to be able to make those key passes. So you have a good quarterback. You have running game. And then you have an offensive line that's got dudes that can play. So if they fit together and they mesh well early, okay, you're gonna see a season much closer to 23 than what you saw in 24. And even I'm kind of talking myself up here from what I had wrote down in my notes earlier on floor and ceiling, but we'll look at it again. I'm talking to myself here, I know, but whatever. Wide receiver, that's the one that to me you're gonna have to prove it. Wildcat comes in from South Dakota State. He was very impressive there. Obviously, there's rapport there with the offensive coordinator, but how does he mesh with Stone? I think it's going to be just fine. I mean, the guy's talented. Both of them are talented. So that's really what I want to see. Farrell is another one coming over from Stanford. He's kind of a smaller wide receiver, 5'10", 180. And then mentioned tight end play. You've got to get some pressure off your quarterback, and tight ends are crucial in that. Let's look at the defense real quick because, again, they were great last year. Considering, I say great, they were really good last year, considering the situation that they were put in a lot. So you have good returning production there. The edge has tools that can rush the passer. The inside, you've got some guys, but you're hoping that Miguel Jackson comes in and he can step up in the rotation. That's one of the transfer guys coming over from Utah State. How well can you hold up against the run? Mentioned last year there were some gashes. I want to see how the interior of the line holds up, but I think you guys are going to be all right rushing the passer. Probably not top end, but still good enough to cause some damage. Linebackers got players in the U line and Karlaftis coming over from Purdue. I think that's a really nice pickup. He's got a good size. He's fast. He's able. He reads the offense well, and then defense. Even looking at the Illinois game, some really nice interceptions, guys that can step in. The defensive, again, you have vets there. You have young guys that can step up. Damon Walters being one of them. And then you got some portal help. You got a couple guys coming in. I mentioned Coffee. He's gone. That guy doesn't matter. But Fred Davis coming up, and then Dylan Tatum also coming over from Sparty. So there's guys that have been around this level of ball before, and they're going to step right in and be ready to rock and roll. It just depends on how quickly these guys can play. Fred Davis coming up from Jack State. Jack State's had some really nice teams, really strong defenses. I think he's going to be a nice addition at 6'1", 190, and maybe he's put on some weight too. We'll see. Let's go ahead and let's look at the schedule. I'll get this here situated. Boom, there it is. All right, pulling it up on my end. The schedule. Okay, so now I remember. Now I remember why I have the floor and the ceiling the way I do. I like things on this team. I do. Vegas has you guys at 3.5 on the over under. That's kind of a trash number. But I get it. I know it sucks to see that, but god dang it, I get it. Tulane is going to be a tough team. They just had Retzlaff come down, that whole shenanigan shit going on. He's now there, even though their quarterback, oh my gosh, what's his name? Coming over from Ball State, young guy, freshman All-American last year at Ball State, Samanza. That dude can play too. So there's quarterback options. They have players. If you want to go look at our preview, go check it out. It's on our YouTube page. And then you have Western Illinois. So I still think you've got the talent and everything to beat Tulane, but I will say it's probably going to be close unless this offense freaking comes out of the gate kicking. Western Illinois, there's a win. Get your last second shit figured out. And then you play Oregon. Now, Oregon, I think they're going to be a beastly team, but they are not going to be the same, in my opinion, as they were last year. Dylan Gabriel was much better quarterback than what they have in Dante Moore. I think maybe the year off and figuring it out helped him out. Maybe I'm going to be massively wrong on that. I don't see it. We'll see what happens. I know I'm just a dude, but we'll see. We take a week off, and then you got UCLA, who's dealing with the Nico Iamaleava situation. Like, I mean, good God be with them. I mean, for you guys, I hope you beat the shit out of them, to be honest. And then you have ULM. So there's a couple wins here that get you over, that hump, that 3 wins. So you're right at the threshold of the over/under, and then you play at Penn State. We know that team's going to be tough. I think it was last year. I'd have to remember. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was 2023 that I'm thinking that you guys had. Yeah, it was definitely 2023. God, that game pissed me off so much watching that for you. You guys were right in, but you kept going for it. I don't know. Whatever. Frustrating game to watch. So you have Penn State this year at Penn State, and then you play a Purdue team that's really undergoing so much change. We just covered them. I don't know what the hell to think about them. Nebraska is going to be, I think, much improved. It's year 3 of Matt Rule. That's usually when things kick off for them. USC, Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois. Honestly, that last segment of games is going to be very tough. So when you're looking at, to me, over/under, I've got a floor. I mean, this is the worst case scenario. Things go horribly. The offensive line is shit. Like, nothing works. 2-10. That's what I see. A 2-10 floor. Tulane is good. Do not overestimate them. You could lose that game. And then you could win against Western Illinois. You could beat ULM. And then the rest could be losses. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to be closer to the ceiling, which I have at 6-6. I think you can beat Tulane, Western Illinois. I think you beat UCLA, ULM, Purdue. And then I think you can upset a team. Like I said earlier in the show, I think there's room for an upset. If Preston Stone and this line get going, I don't know. I just feel it. I got a feeling. And last year I did pretty good in my picks. And then I'd have to pull up my stat. It was like 85 and something win, 85 and like something wins. I can't remember. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But I kind of do all right. All right. I'm not a betting man. Don't follow me. I'm not a financial advisor either. So let me know what you guys think. Floor, ceiling, coaching staff, all the stuff. Let me know how you're feeling. I would lean closer to my ceiling of the 6-6 side. I'd love to see Northwestern go bowling. I think that would be awesome. I think this can be a fun offense if things click. And I think the defense is going to be right around that same area, maybe even better if things get moving. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you watching. And, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Obligated to say it. It's in my contract. Hope you guys have a good night. We'll see you around.